So today our topic of discussion is microarthropods. Let me explain you this term. Arthropod. Arthro means jointed. Pods means legs. The organisms which have jointed legs will be jointed like this. Usually they have three pairs of legs, and these legs are jointed. So, now can you guess the creatures which we are speaking about? Which organisms have this type of jointed legs? Did you ever turn the ant and see are the legs jointed or not? Did you turn a beetle any time to see if the legs are jointed or not? Yeah, housefly. So we are talking about insects. Among the insects, there are some very minute insects. Okay, they are also belong to group insects only. Yes, Kaushik Rama, you're right. So we are talking about insects which are very minute insects. So like other insects, they also have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. All the insects have three parts in their body. First one is head, second one is thorax, and third it is abdomen. So, like other insects, these microarthropods also have head, thorax, abdomen, and if you turn the body upside down, you can see that they are having jointed legs like this. Only thing that is different in these organisms and insects is they are microscopic. They can be seen only under microscope. Only under microscope. So, if you observe under microscope, you can see that their body is segmented like this. So, they have a segmented body. What is the importance of these microarthropods? I'll give you some examples. Scabies is a skin infection that is caused by a microarthropod scabies mite. You know that your body sheds. 1 minute. Okay, we'll start that. Scabies. So our skin cells will shed every day. Every day our skin is shedding the cells. You know that. So to eat these cells, a small creature called scabies might it comes, it sits on our skin, feeds on those dead cells. But sometimes it can cause disease called scabies. Scabies are small wounds. After eating those dead cells, it starts feeding on living cells also. They should be washed away from our body at regular intervals. So that, what do you say, scabies mite which is on our skin will be removed when you wash your body, when you bath. So that is very important. This scabies mite is not only found on the skin, it is found on the skin that is present in our head also. So it feeds on our skin cells. Right? Okay, one more example I'll say you. Eyelash mite. Eyelash mite. This is present in our eyelashes. Our eyelashes, what do you say, like lice are present on our body, they are also present on our body, right? They should be washed off regularly from our body. On our eyelashes also, there are some dead cells generating every day. Every day our body will generate so many dead cells. If you count up all the dead cells that are generating from your body, per year it counts to be something around 2 to 3 kgs of, 2 to 2.5 kgs of dead cells will be released. So these dead cells will be food for these mites. So they come and sit on these eyelashes, they sit on our skin. So these are harmful to our body. Okay, one more example I'll give you. Dust mite. Dust mite feeds on our skin cells that are present in dust. or very minute bacteria and fungus that are present in dust. So every day dust generates in our house. That dust has our skin cells. If there is any animal in your house, the hair of that animal also will shed. If you are growing any pet in your house, or if there are any microorganisms, dead microorganisms on the floor, etc., they also are fed. They are also equally harmful. Okay. So sometimes when you put your hand on your dust, you get sneezing and all. That is because of this dust mites. Okay. So this dust, these mites are harmful. Some of them are parasitic. But most of them are very useful. Like, for example, spring rolls uh, or ascara. This is a mite that is present in soil. This is a mite that is present in soil. They help in spring reels. Oh, okay, sorry. Spring reels and ascara is a mite. These mites causes soil fertility. Soil fertility. They feed on small things that are present in the soil and they shit in that soil. When they excrete in that soil, that fertility adds back to the soil. In that way, they help in degradation of the materials, organic materials like dead leaves, dead animals, dead insects that are present. And mostly they feed on bacteria and fungus. Their main food is bacteria and fungus. They eat bacteria and fungus. So that is about microarthropods, right? There are some waters, there are some microarthropods that are found in water, like cyclops, daphnia. These are found in water bodies and they have almost a transparent body. So when they are present in water, you cannot understand that they are present in water. So they are transparent. So these are the examples of some of the microorganisms. With this, we have completed all the microorganisms. Now we'll discuss about some other topics like how penicillin is discovered, how vaccine is discovered. Sir, back to the topic. So we'll see how penicillin discovery is done. Penicillin. Penicillin is an antibiotic that is obtained from Penicillium notatum. This is a fungus. Nowadays, it is also obtained from Penicillium chrysogenum. But initially, its discovery was done from Penicillium notatum only. Okay, when Alexander Fleming was doing experiments with some microbes. He grew some of the microbes in a petri dish. Petri dish is a round bowl-like structure. It's a round bowl-like structure. So when he was growing like this, he was infected with fungal infection. So usually when you grow some bacteria, it grows in all directions. In the entire petri dish, it will grow. But since he was infected with the cold, one of his nasal drop fell into this, let us assume this area. In this area, his nasal drop has fallen, a drop from his nostrils has fallen in that culture. This area, he did not see any microbial growth. Any bacteria did not grow. Remaining all the area is occupied with bacteria. So that he identified cold is caused by fungal infection, and with this he identified that some fungus can be used to stop this, okay, stop the growth of bacteria, okay. So how did he discover is fungus has an enzyme called lysozyme. This lysozyme has capacity to denature denature bacterial cell wall. Bacterial cell wall can be denatured with the help of this enzyme lysozyme. So, when he understood this concept, he tried to extract this uh, lysozyme enzyme from this Penicillium notatum. When he is successful, he could make the first antibiotic called penicillin. Okay. So this is about discovery of invention of penicillin, right? Next, another scientist after him, another scientist, his name is Yella Pragad Subbarao. Yella Pragada Subbarao. He's a native from our some district, Telugu man. This is from our districts only. I don't remember exact district in which he belongs. What he discovered is he discovered drugs like tetracycline, chloramphenicol. These are the drugs which are used as antibiotics. Antibiotics. So, use of some chemically synthesized substances, some chemically synthesized drugs can be used to prevent bacterial infection. Was discovered by this by Allapragada Subbarao, and he received Nobel Prize for the discovery, and he is also called as Wizard of Wonder Drugs. Okay. So one thing you need to remember about antibiotics is you should never administer any antibiotics without any doctor's advice. Nowadays, we have a habit of searching in Google everything and using antibiotics as per our wish, but it is not good. Antibiotics should be taken only under medical advice only. Why? Because antibiotics have capacity to kill the microorganisms, bacteria that enter into our body. At the same time, they cause harm to our body also. So it makes our body weak. So which is suitable for our disease? That will be decided by doctor itself. Based on that only we should take our antibiotics. And one more thing about antibiotics is they should be the complete dose of antibiotics should be used. Why? What will happen? Suppose there are some bacteria. When bacteria enter into our body, they enter in small number. When the bacteria starts reproducing in our body, their number increases. When the number increases, then only we get that infection is complete and we get fever or something like that. Some symptoms are exhibited. At that time, we go to doctor and doctor advises us to take some antibiotics. We suppose if the doctor asked us to take 5 tablets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have taken first tablet, the number of bacteria decreases, the number of bacteria decreases to certain extent, but still we have fever. Second dose also completed. Number again decreases. Third dose also completed. Number again decreases. At this time we don't have fever. If you stop using your antibiotics, you are not completing your dose. This number will not decrease. And if there is a chance for reversal, again reproduction occurs and the number of bacteria will increase again. So what you should do, you should not stop it here. You use your fourth dose also, you complete your fifth dose also. Then only the antibiotics are completely eliminated. Sorry, the bacteria are completely eliminated from our body, and then only we don't have any chance for disease. Right? They should be very clear for you. Next, we'll see the discovery of vaccination. Vaccination was first discovered by the scientist Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner. He is the person who discovered vaccination. First, let us understand in short what is vaccination. Generally, when any pathogen enters our body, immediately our body will produce some antibodies, and they help us to fight against that pathogens. Okay, if our antibodies are not enough to fight against these pathogens, it causes diseases. It causes diseases. Okay, if antibodies produced by our body are not enough to fight against this pathogen, our body will get that infection. Okay, but in vaccination, what we are doing, we are producing these antibodies before the pathogen enters. Like we are appointing any security for our house before the thief enters into our house. Same like that, we are we are producing antibodies in our body before this pathogen enters our body. So, okay, what this vaccination means? In vaccination, a dead pathogen or heat killed pathogen or ligated pathogen. Ligated pathogen means in the entire body, first you understand what is dead pathogen. Pathogen will be killed by any means, and that is one type of vaccine, heat killed. The pathogen that is present in that sample will be killed by applying heat, and that is a heat killed pathogen that will be present in the vaccine. Ligated pathogen means in the pathogen's body, pathogen's outermost layer, there are some molecules which cause diseases. These are called as toxins. These toxins will cause diseases. The toxins are made inactive. These toxins are made inactive. Either they are made inactive or they are completely removed from that organism. Such a pathogen is called ligated pathogen. The toxin that is present in the pathogen is either denatured or removed, then that is called as ligated pathogen. Any one of this is present in the vaccine. So, a dead pathogen or heat killed pathogen or ligated pathogen do not have any capacity to cause disease. It's completely inactive. But when it enters into our body, when any one of this pathogen enters our body identifies this pathogen. It will not identify whether it is dead or living. Our body immediately starts producing antibodies. So now our antibodies are already present in the body, already present before infection occurs. Now, if any pathogen is trying to enter our body, what will happen? Already antibodies are produced. Already antibodies are produced. So, at the first minute stage of infection, only that pathogens are killed. The pathogens are killed at very minute stage of infection itself. So there will not be any further infection. Okay. This is why I am saying we are appointing a security in our house before the thief is entering. Instead of taking something after the thief enters our house, he robs something from our house. At that time, if you appoint the security, already damage has occurred. So that needs only cure. You can do the next steps only. But when you're administering vaccine, already you're appointing security in your body, and when pathogen enters, immediately the whatever antibodies are present in our body, they kill the pathogens that enter our body, and they are completely denatured in the initial stages, right? So that is how the vaccines will function. Okay, you may have one doubt. What will they stay for lifetime? The antibodies that are produced in our body? Yes, they will be present in our body. The antibodies that are produced in our body have memory. So whenever they are seeing the same pathogen, again their number automatically is raised very fastly. So again the pathogen is not allowed to enter. So our immunity has a very good advantage that it has memory. Our immunity remembers the pathogens. So once you are infected, most of the diseases you will not get for second time. Right. So this is about the discovery of vaccination. Oh, sorry. I said you only about vaccination. I'll say you the Edward Jenner's experiments. Edward Jenner, what he did is, at that time, smallpox, at the time of Edward Jenner, smallpox is a dreadful disease. Someone is infected with this smallpox, they are sure to die. Okay? 90% of the patients with smallpox are dying. So, what Edward Jenner observed is milkmaids usually get another infection called cowpox because they are continuously exposed to cow. They are exposed to cowpox. Cowpox is a similar type of infection which is seen in cows. So that cow's infection is seen to enter into milkmaids. Milkmaids means the persons who sell the milk. The persons who sell the milk are called as milkmaids. In these persons' body, cowpox infection is common. If cowpox infection is seen, they are not infected with smallpox. Okay. So with this logic, what he did is he consulted one of the milkmaid. He removed this cowpox pustule. Pustule means when the cowpox is formed, some white color liquid is erupted from that. That small liquid is called as pustule. That pustule from the cowpox infection is taken and induced into a small 8-year child. 8-year child with the permission of parents. This is very important. With parent permission only it was induced. So, what happened to this 8-year child when he was exposed to this smallpox vaccine? He did not get the infection of smallpox. That means this cowpox and smallpox are having similar characters. This body of this boy has already developed the antibodies against that infection. So, he did not get infected with this smallpox. So, this is how the discovery of vaccination was done for the first time. Right? Okay. With this, I am ending today's topic, children.